Hey guys, Coach Chris here from Karate Unity. In today's video, we're going to be seeing how various kata and Kihon movements can be put into a functional pad flow drill. Let's check it out. So in this pad flow drill, you square up with your partner, one person throws a cross, you slip to the outside, counter to the center, hook, crash in, throw in a knee, and work your knees and elbows and push off and angle off. Okay, so check it out. So let's check out the karate connections. So in the very first movement, you're basically split entry down, you're parrying, removing a barrier, and getting in down the center with a ballistic bomb. In karate, we have a lot of these crossing hand motions. You see that in all throughout the kata and in various Kihon sequences, such as, all your ukiwazas, okay? You see that crossing hand motion, okay? Where you're crossing, you're doing all these crossing hand motions. Okay, the way I like to use it is as a split entry. So as you can see off of that first hand that comes in, this hand crosses and this hand's here. So you see that transition movement? I use it functionally as a pat and coming in. Okay, so check it out. Next, we've got the hook line punch. You see a lot of hook line movements. For example, in Naihanchi, where you've got your kakazuke, okay? Right here. The following move is crashing in to control that limb. You crash into the center. There's a lot of kata movements that can fulfill that purpose. For example, in Rohai, okay, we've got a movement like this, okay, where your hands are separated and they're together in a very strong structure, okay? So you can potentially use that to crash in as well, okay? In the P9 katas, we've got your simultaneous hands like this, okay? So in P9 4, we've got a movement like that. Well, like I said, the alphabetical biomechanical language, you can use it to change the angles in space. So if I take this hand here and I put it in an angular motion like this, I can use that to crash into my opponent to, secure, that shoulder and that hand, as you see in the drill. There were knees thrown, okay? There's knees in practically a lot of our Kihons, okay? So for example, the first kata that comes into mind is the Naihanchi. So you've got, your knees. Now, yes, the knees are brought up like this, but on an angular, using the biomechanical principle, you can deliver your knee, on that kind of angle, right? Knees and knee. Then, of course, you've got one hand on the head and you're throwing in elbows, okay, where you're securing the neck and you're throwing in elbows. You see that in a lot of different kata, in particular Naihanchi, okay, where you have the elbow smash and the kakazuke that follows. In one of the flow sequences, we've got a head control. So after throwing in the knees, I push off, and you've got this frame right here. Okay, this frame over here. Well, in Pasai, okay, we've got a movement where after this motion here and it's down, you're moving it across, okay? There's a transition piece where it's just like this. There's that motion right there in Pasai, okay? Right here, okay? We've got those crossing hand motions in our salutations in the beginning where we've got hands like this, okay? Any hand, basically you have your position down here, you can use it in space, raise it up, and it can be used functionally in space. For example, in that flow drill, we're pushing off the opponent so we can follow up with the knees, okay? So there you have it, guys, a functional drill utilizing Kihon, Waza, and Kata movements in a functional pad flow drill between two people going back and forth. I think any type of traditional martial art movements needs to be put under this type of testing type of environment, this type of play, okay, where you're working with a live opponent, manipulating limbs, working on different angles, experimenting with different rhythms, timings, and strikes, and distances, and all these kind of things. One of the biggest problems I find in traditional karate and also traditional martial arts is the fact that, you know, we have a tendency to force feed applications exactly the way it is in the form and perpetuate this all throughout our practice over decades and decades and decades. In Rohai, we have a movement like this. Well, the way it was delivered in the form is, you know, you're whipping your hands and dropping it down like that, and you're tilting and keeping that bent arm structure. Well, I didn't apply it that way. And I'm going to be honest with you, the application changes based on the opponent. I cannot possibly apply it the way it is in the form simply because of the chaotic nature of violence. We need to be adaptable under pressure, and that's why drills like this and sparring drills needs to happen. I turn to combat sports, for example, as a testing ground for a lot of these things. And, you know, despite the combat sport bashing among traditional martial artists, I think it's important to have. You need to have a testing activity, and in my case, it's combat sports, where you can test all of these traditional techniques in a safe, testable environment and pressure test it. I think that's the step that needs to happen in order for us to be pragmatic as martial artists. So let's embrace all training methods, guys. This is the way of the future. We have all kinds of evidence around us that you know, live combat sport, functional type of training is the way to go to make our martial arts healthy, flexible, alive, and free. Chris Hansen signing out. If you like this type of material, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Click on that notification bell for more up-to-date videos. All the best. Remember to treat each other with kindness and respect.